Somewhere, a clock keeps insisting that another hour has passed. Somewhere, a calendar struggles to name a day, a month, a year. But that is the tyranny of the surface, the illusion of linear time. Here, in this space, we stop that machine. Outside, the world races on. People work, laugh, chase deadlines, live only on the surface of life. But here, in this inner sanctuary, you and I pause. We disconnect from the noise and descend into a darker, colder, more honest place. Our guide on this descent is one of the most ruthless philosophers to ever live, the surgeon of the soul who never used anesthesia, Arthur Schopenhauer. And today's journey has one purpose: to reveal what women do not want you to know about themselves. Pay attention to the phrasing. It is not about what they do not know. It is not about malice or conscious deception. It is about what they cannot let you know. Because revealing these truths would shatter the social theater we all perform in. It would break the romantic script culture has sold us, a script they themselves have bought and often defend. These truths are uncomfortable because they strip away the poetry and show something far more biological. And they are dangerous for you because if you learn them without depth, they can turn you bitter, angry, resentful. But Schopenhauer's dark philosophy is not for weak men looking for excuses for their pain. It is for the strong, those who seek freedom through truth. Today, we are not here to complain. We are here to understand. We are here to analyze the machinery, the primal software that, according to Schopenhauer, runs beneath the surface of the female psyche. Because only the man who understands this software can stop being frustrated by it. Only he can stop playing a chess game with made-up rules and start seeing the ruthless, real board of nature. And only he, armed with that clarity, can walk into the world of relationships not as a victim, but as a sovereign. Secret number 1. Her love is not a spiritual vow. It is a biological contract. The hidden truth is this: what she calls love and what you call love are two very different things at their root. Your love can be a dream, an act of idealism. Hers, deep down, is an act of pragmatism. Culture told you that love is the meeting of soulmates, a mystical, selfless connection. She believes this too, at least consciously. She will speak of connection, magic, destiny. She is not lying, she feels it is real, but nature, in its infinite cunning, has disguised a biological imperative in the most beautiful clothing. Schopenhauer warned that your romantic feelings are an illusion. You are not entirely free, you are the pawn of a force much older and greater, the will to live, the blind drive of the species to continue itself. What you feel as love is the genius of the species working through you, calculating that the union of your traits would produce healthy, strong offspring. But here is the truth she does not want you to know. Schopenhauer would argue that in her, this impulse is even more direct and powerful. She carries the children, she raises them. Her biological software has one mission: maximize the survival and success of her bloodline. Her love is not just an emotion, it is a contract of investment. When she chooses you, her instinct is not signing a poem. It is signing an invisible contract. Its clauses are survival itself: security, protection, resources, stability, status. Not because she is greedy, but because each is a vital variable in the equation of life. You think she fell in love with your soul, your kindness, your sense of humor? Those play a role on the surface, yes. But the foundation of attraction was built on her unconscious perception of your capacity. The day that perception changes, everything begins to shake. Lose your job, show long-term emotional weakness, abandon your ambition, and no matter how much she says she loves you, something shifts deep inside her. Her love may remain as care, but respect and desire, the two pillars of attraction, will begin to collapse. Stop trying to win her with acts of servitude or poetic declarations. Those are flowers that decorate the building. Instead, become obsessed with the structure of the building. Become the embodiment of capacity. Build your empire, your health, your purpose, your finances, your emotional strength, not for her, but for yourself. The most powerful declaration of love you can make is not "I love you," but a constant silent proof that you are a competent man, a safe refuge in the storm of life. She does not need your poems as much as she needs your strength. Secret number 2. Her mind is not built for pure truth. It is built for survival. Her mind is not designed for objective, abstract truth, but for mastering social reality, for navigating the invisible web of relationships. It is a tool of relentless pragmatism. You were taught that everyone seeks truth, that honesty is sacred, that in a fair debate the best argument wins. You expect her to value brutal honesty, to separate facts from feelings, to face reality as it is. But that is your illusion. Schopenhauer observed that men often lose themselves in abstraction, philosophy, science, art for art's sake. Women, by nature, remain anchored to the concrete, to the practical, to what preserves life. Her genius is not in abstract logic, it is in applied psychology, and here is the truth. She does not want you to know. By nature, she is a sharper psychologist than you. Her brain is tuned to detect what is unsaid, to catch the mismatch between your words and your tone, to sense the shifting hierarchies in a room, to map who holds power and who is pretending. While you focus on the content, the facts, the data, she focuses on the context, the emotion, the intention, the subtext. To you, what matters is whether a statement is true. To her, what matters is whether it is useful. Useful to keep peace in the group, useful to strengthen your bond, useful to protect emotional safety. A truth that threatens connection feels dangerous to her system. Therefore, for her, it is a bad truth. A white lie that keeps stability? For her, that is a good tool. You will stop feeling frustrated with her when you finally see that you are not playing the same game. You are trying to win an argument. She is trying to manage a relationship. When you demand brutal honesty, she hears, "Give me a weapon to hurt you and destroy what we have." When she hides an uncomfortable truth, it is not always malice. It is an instinct whispering to her that stability is more important than your need for data. She is the minister of internal affairs in the relationship. And sometimes, for the sake of national security, information must be classified. Stop demanding that she think like a man. Start learning from her genius. Pay less attention to her words and more to the reason behind those words. Instead of asking, "Why did you say this?" ask, "What made you feel the need to say this?" Move from being a detective of facts to being an interpreter of emotions. And most importantly, never lose your emotional frame for the sake of truth. You must remain the rock of objective reality, but communicate like a wise diplomat who understands that in her kingdom, feelings are the true currency of power. Secret number 3, her loyalty can be a choice, but her desire is a wanderer that never sleeps. Her radar for masculine value is always on. It is always scanning, always comparing, always asking the question, is this still the best option for me and my future children? Romantic mythology tells you that once a woman loves you, her eyes close to all other men. She herself clings to this idea because it feels beautiful and safe. But nature has other plans. Schopenhauer reminds us that woman is the chief agent of the will to live, the one chosen to guard the next generation. From this perspective, fixing her desire on one man forever, no matter how far he falls, no matter what better options appear, would be a suicidal biological strategy. So nature built in a failsafe, a fundamental inconstancy, a mechanism to ensure that if the man she chose declines, she can redirect her attention to a stronger path. This does not mean she will always act on it physically. It means her desire is not a permanent state. It is an ongoing evaluation. Even in a happy relationship, a part of her unconscious keeps scanning the room. It watches for rising status, strength, charisma in other men. It asks silently, is my man still the peak of the mountain, or has another climber surpassed him? The greatest mistake you can make is complacency. The moment you think you have her, that the work is done, you begin to lose her. While you relax and soften, while your ambition slows down, she keeps living. She meets a new boss with commanding presence. She sees an ex who has transformed himself. She admires a man building an exciting future. Her unconscious takes note. Desire, like water, always flows to the strongest current. It is not magic that kills the spark, it is comparison. And the spark quietly transfers to the man who now represents the highest value. Stop thinking in terms of conquest and possession. Adopt the mentality of daily merit. You are not the owner of her desire, you are its tenant, and the rent is paid daily with the currency of your own growth. Be a moving target, a man in perpetual motion, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually. She should not feel that she has you. She should feel she can barely keep up with you. The loyalty of her desire is not secured by walls and rules. It is secured by becoming such an electric force, such an exciting adventure, that the very thought of looking elsewhere feels like unbearable boredom. Secret number 4. Your excessive sacrifice does not create gratitude. It creates contempt. At the primal level, a woman is not drawn to the man who sacrifices himself for her, but to the man who sacrifices himself for his mission. Your endless devotion, your constant giving, your willingness to abandon your path for the sake of pleasing her, beyond a certain point, it stops looking like love and starts looking like weakness. You were raised to believe that real love means self-sacrifice, to put her needs above yours, to drop your dreams, to become her knight in shining armor. She herself may ask for this, she may praise you when you give it, but there is a deeper, ancient part of her that begins to lose respect the moment you step away from your battlefield. Schopenhauer saw the nature of man as a creature designed for struggle, a being meant to fight obstacles, to carve his purpose into the world. When a man abandons that fight to orbit around a woman, he commits the ultimate betrayal of his own essence. She does not want you to know this, that when you give up your mission, when you throw away your friends, your time, your solitude, your ambitions, just to be available for her, a part of her feels flattered, but the deeper part feels contempt. Why? Because you are silently telling her, my war, my purpose, my kingdom, they all mean nothing compared to you. You have crowned her as your god, and a queen cannot desire a man who kneels as if he were her servant. She fell in love with the warrior who stood on the battlefield of life. If you leave that battlefield to become her personal attendant, you stop being the man she chose. You are the martyr. You cancel plans, you skip the gym, you isolate yourself from your brothers just to prove your devotion. And then you wonder why, instead of rewarding you with passion and desire, she grows colder, more irritable, more distant. Every sacrifice you make for her, when it is not rooted in your mission, is a cut to her respect for you. You drown her in devotion that feels like weakness. Your mission is the sun, she is the moon. The moon is beautiful. It reflects the light of the sun and moves the tides of emotion. But if the sun abandons its place to chase the moon, the entire system collapses. Your first loyalty is to your sun, to your mission, to your purpose. Love your mission more than you love her. It sounds cruel, but it is the only way the polarity works. When she feels like the privileged moon orbiting around a brilliant sun, her world feels safe, her respect deepens, and her desire burns hotter. Your devotion to your mission is the ultimate proof of strength, and strength, more than any poem or promise, is the highest aphrodisiac. Secret number 5. She needs you weak to feel safe, but she desires you strong to feel alive. At the center of the female psyche lives a paradox. One side, her nesting instinct, longs for a man she can predict, manage, and control. The other side, her erotic soul, longs for a man she cannot fully tame, a man who is free, wild, and just beyond her grasp. She will tell you she is looking for a partner, an equal, a man who is sensitive and safe. She will seek comfort, stability, and the absence of conflict. But that is only one half of her. Schopenhauer, master of contradiction, would have seen this clearly. It is the eternal tension between security and intensity. She does not want you to know that she is at war with herself. Her daytime self wants to tame you, to make you ask for permission, to mold you into a man who fits her routines. A compliant man is predictable, and predictable feels safe. But here is the cruel twist. Her desire is not ignited by the man she has already tamed. Her desire is ignited by the man who refuses to bow. The man whose mission is non-negotiable. The man who chooses her but does not need her. This is where her tests are born. When she starts drama, when she challenges you, when she pushes your buttons, she is asking 2 questions at once. Are you soft enough that I can feel safe with you? And are you strong enough to resist me so that I can still feel alive? The nice guy fails the first test by yielding too much. He becomes safe, but boring. Desire dies. The selfish man fails the second test by refusing to bend at all. He becomes strong, but cold. Trust dies. Both lose. You must become both the rock and the storm. Benevolent leadership is the key. You are unmovable in your mission, your standards, your frame. This is the strength she craves. But you are generous, understanding, and compassionate in how you lead. This is the safety she needs. When she tests you, you do not collapse and you do not explode. You stay calm. You smile at her storm. You keep walking your path and invite her to join you. You show her through action that she cannot control you, but she can completely trust you. You are dangerous to the world, but safe for her. When you embody this paradox, you satisfy both hungers in her soul and become the only man capable of ruling her inner kingdom. We have now walked through the 5 secret chambers of the feminine soul. Guided by Schopenhauer's merciless lantern, we have uncovered truths that most men spend their lives avoiding. And what have we seen? That love is not a poem, it is a biological contract. That her mind is not a temple of truth, it is a survival compass, always reading the winds of the tribe. That her desire is not permanent, it is a hunter that never stops tracking the strongest prey. That your sacrifice, when excessive, is poison, it erodes respect faster than any insult. And that her soul is a battlefield where safety and passion fight every single day. Hearing this can feel like a betrayal. It can feel like the death of something innocent in you. But that is not where this journey ends, that is where it begins. Because now you have something most men will never hold, a map. And a map is useless unless you walk the ground it describes. When you understand that love is a contract, you stop trying to buy affection with words and gifts and start investing in capacity. You build your health because a strong body signals survival. You build your finances because security is one of nature's loudest instincts. You build your purpose because purpose is what gives a man his magnetic field. When you understand that her mind is a survival tool, you stop demanding brutal honesty and start listening to her emotions as signals, not insults. Instead of debating, you ask better questions. What do you need to feel safe right now? What fear is hiding behind these words? When you understand that her desire is always scanning, you stop getting lazy. You stop thinking love is something you possess. You start seeing it as something you must earn daily through growth and excellence. You keep learning. You keep upgrading. You stay dangerous, because danger is what keeps passion alive. When you understand that sacrifice breeds contempt, you stop throwing away your mission to orbit around her. You stay on your battlefield. You allow her to see you fighting your war, because that is the man she chose in the first place. And when you understand her paradox, that she wants you safe but also untamable, you stop collapsing under her tests and stop exploding in anger. You become steady, unshakable. You let her storms come, and you smile, and you keep moving forward. This is the moment most men miss. They learn these truths and think, women are the enemy. I will detach. I will never love again. But that is just another cage, the cage of bitterness. The sovereign man does not hide from life. He builds a life so strong that no single person can topple it. He uses this knowledge not to control women, but to control himself. Because once you see the real rules, you cannot go back to being a pawn. You must become the player. This is not about despair. It is not about anger. It is about clarity, and clarity is freedom. A man who sees reality as it is stops being afraid of it. He becomes strategic. He moves through the world without begging for love and without fearing its loss. And that, right there, is when he becomes most magnetic. If you are still here, if you have walked through the shadows with me without looking away, then something inside you is already changing. Because most men would have turned back. Most men cannot bear the weight of these truths. They prefer the comfort of the illusion. They choose the lie because the lie is soft. But you stayed. You have faced the dismantling of the myth. You have watched the romantic mask fall, and instead of crying out in despair, you have chosen to see. And that choice, the choice to see reality as it is the first mark of sovereignty. The world will not clap for you. There will be no parade for a man who chooses clarity over comfort. In fact, people may resent you. They may say you are cold, that you have become calculating, that you no longer play the game the way they want you to play it. Good. Because the man who sees no longer dances to the music of the crowd. He moves to the rhythm of his own war drum. This is not about becoming a tyrant. It is about becoming aligned. Aligned with your mission. Aligned with nature's laws. Aligned with the kind of man you secretly always wanted to be but were too afraid to become. Your work is not to escape women. It is not to declare war on them. It is to build a kingdom that is so stable, so radiant, that whether she stays or leaves, your light does not dim. That means building. A body that can endure challenge. A mind that can cut through illusion. A purpose that pulls you forward even on days when no one believes in you. A brotherhood that holds you to your standard when you are tempted to collapse. You do this not because it guarantees her love, but because it guarantees your freedom. When a man is free, when he no longer clings to approval, when he no longer needs to be chosen to feel worthy, something changes in the air around him. Women feel it before he says a word. Men feel it too, because a man who is sovereign changes the atmosphere of any room he enters. He does not chase, he does not beg, he does not shrink, he simply is. He is the island of order in a chaotic ocean. The lighthouse that does not move no matter how strong the storm becomes. And paradoxically, this is the man women cannot ignore. Not because he plays games, but because he has become the game. If these 5 secrets have struck something inside you, if you have felt your old illusions cracking, then do not let this just be a moment of inspiration. Turn it into action. Build the habits, build the discipline. Build the man. Comment below with one word: truth. Declare that you have chosen clarity over comfort, and then tell me, which of these 5 secrets shook you the most? Which one hit you like a hammer because you saw it play out in your own life? Your story is proof that the machinery of nature is still working, and your courage to speak it will wake up other men who are still asleep. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and keep coming back to sharpen your mind. Because here, we do not build fantasies, we forge weapons. The world is not as it should be, it is as it is. Your power is not born from denying that fact. Your power is born from mastering it. And when you master it, when you walk through life with open eyes, you are no longer a man chasing approval. You become the storm. You become the sun around which her world orbits. You become sovereign.